Are we recording?
Well, we're live.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
And we're live with our producer.
That was
Hello,
so
hello.
dead.
I was like, why Omar is just facing the camera?
Yeah, because
It's like his one-man show.
he's the boomer here. He doesn't know how this stuff works.
Welcome to my podcast, guys.
Go to my podcast.
Banter, not bullying.
That's a new thing he learned
Yeah.
in school this week. Banter and not bullying.
What did you learn?
What do you
What
want
are
to
the
explain?
characteristics of banter and bullying?
Wait, can we
What? Properly introduce ourselves?
No, khalas, let's just. We're already into it.
Are we?
We're not.
I mean,
No,
we
we're
technically have a. Actually, I wouldn't call Maleeha a guest.
Yeah.
Like she's
I'm
our
family.
producer. Yeah.
So, welcome to the new episode of Habano del Podcasto. And today we have our producer, Maleeha, with us today.
Hi.
So we have Maleeha, who we call Meeham. We have Adham,
That
who
name
we
is
call
forced onto
Tallham.
me.
It was forced onto you.
We have Adham, who we call
The OG
Adham,
Adham.
and myself,
who
the
we
host of
call
this podcast.
Omar.
The only host.
I'm not a host.
The one and
Can we
only.
not?
Did you notice how he just took over?
It's fine. I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't even his idea.
I think like he's more comfortable in the office than his place.
Yeah, that's true.
So now he's showing like dominance.
No, the first
This is my
episode.
place.
The
This is
first
his area.
episode, he didn't talk at all, like very little, and
Yeah, it
now
was just
he's
me and
like,
Tolham going at each other. That's it. That was
Yeah.
the whole episode.
and now it's like
I had to warm up.
you found your comfort
I
spot.
have.
Yeah.
Keep hitting the stupid wire. So,
Got it.
So what
Give him a
cigars
scissor.
are we smoking?
so today we have
smoking a blue
no
cigar.
cigars
No
because
cigars
we're in the
today.
SmartCrowd office, but we have coffee.
Wait, but that's not the reason why we don't have any cigars with us.
Hi.
Yeah, so
Just
so Meeham, she likes cigars so much that she had to quit. And if we smoke in front of her, she's gonna go and she's gonna smoke the whole box by herself.
I'm gonna get withdrawals.
So she's gonna
Massive.
she's giving up cigars for the new year. That's 2025 New Year resolution.
But we
Yeah.
haven't. This is still a cigar podcast.
yeah,
So-
just imagine.
Yeah, imagine us like smoking.
Yeah, so we'll
So what are you smoking? What are you smoking, Toham?
We'll have to change the name of this.
What are
of
you
this.
drinking?
I'm drinking plain old water right now because I already had 2 coffees
Why are you not
for the day.
drinking mate?
That's
What happened to your mate?
I don't know. I
or
just
mate?
honestly, the truth is that when I was put in charge of getting the coffee machine for the office, I felt that to justify its price, I had to drink a coffee and give up the mate. So I'm just back on coffee now.
We probably made that amount already. So now you can start drinking your mate again.
Yeah, but like
Plus there is like unlimited hot water from that thing. So
there is, but like.
but this actually don't. You're gonna clog the sink. I saw what you did in Nest.
Oh, when I
Yes, horrible.
dumped it in the sink, yeah.
Didn't he
that was
clog the
horrible.
bathroom?
No, that's an always thing. It's
Banter.
There was a sink
Banter,
in Nest.
not bullying, Omar.
What?
There was a sink in Nest.
In the washroom.
So
Oh.
inside the bathroom, I just dumped it in the sink, expecting it to have that, and it just was everywhere.
No,
I just
why
had
would
to,
you
like-
do that to them? No wonder they hated us.
That was one of the reasons why they hated us.
Yeah. Everyone walking in, they were like, they had no idea what mate is, and they walk in. It's like, why is there seaweed in the sink? And it was told home. It actually looks like seaweed.
It looks like weed.
It was like a Japanese restaurant. right next
Actual
to
weed.
us.
Tallham looks like seaweed.
He's wearing the color. He's wearing the color today. He's
I
dressed
am
the
wearing
part.
the colour.
So we're a cigar podcast, but on the occasions when we have a guest who does not smoke, we'll be having coffee editions.
Because we respect their
Choices in life. Can we talk about how you guys had like a whole like week or 2 weeks to film at Omar's house, and then you guys smoked so much, you felt sick. You felt sick.
Actually,
Yeah.
I felt sick after we stopped.
Oh,
I
wow.
like a couple days after we stopped the last episode, I was talking to them. I was like, I need to smoke. I feel like I want to smoke.
You were having withdrawals too.
So I got sick when my wife came back.
Oh God.
Can we cut
She's
that
gonna
out?
listen to this, you know. She's one of the first comments usually, so be careful.
So I'm sending it away again for a wedding next week.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna be back in your place.
Let's go.
For a couple of weeks, and we have we actually have a few nice smokes that are lined up. We're gonna smoke our first Davidoff, and I'm really excited about that one.
So
super
Adam keeps
excited
buying
about
us cigars for some reason, and now we've got a box full of cigars that we need to
I'm
smoke.
writing all those up. So one day you both are gonna get like this invoice,
a big invoice.
Habano del Podcasto invoice.
And that's when the show will go from having 3 hosts to just one person on it.
So today's coffee is from Boone Coffee Roasters. Shout out to Boone.
Or are you giving them free
Not
shout-outs?
sponsored, by the way.
I'm gonna talk to them.
We love
Hopefully
them.
They'll sponsor us.
At least give us free coffee.
Do you know what they're going to do? They're gonna give us those cards where you can get a free coffee every time you buy the 10.
Yeah, when you get
That's
8,
what we're going to
you'll
get.
get one.
Actually, it's one of the best coffees I've had in Dubai.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you
It's
serious?
very nice.
Yeah, their coffee is nice. I like their coffee. Not the espresso based ones. I always ask for like a Chemex or like a V60.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their brewed coffee is nice.
Do you guys know what?
I'm not gonna make a comment because I want them to sponsor us.
Yeah.
But do you guys know
Their coffee is not
which,
that good.
coffee place is actually?
I like Nescafe more.
There's a place that we get a coffee from every now and then that's surprisingly better than expected.
Which one?
Which it's Adnoc petrol station.
It's actually decent.
You know, and that's the only
they
one.
use a
actually.
coffee roaster from Abu Dhabi. I believe it's called Blacksmith.
Yeah, and as I remember one time me and my wife, we just wanted a cup of coffee, and it's at first petrol station when we get out from our area, and we were like expecting bad coffee, but it was actually very good.
What got you guys into coffee? Because for me, I didn't start drinking until I actually started working at Tim Hortons. They got
Really?
me onto it. Yeah. I didn't know what a cappuccino was before I started working there.
So I think I started working in the family restaurant when I was about 13 or 14. I think that's when I started having
Drinking
espresso.
coffee?
What was your first coffee?
Must be just espresso because my brothers would have been drinking espresso. They would have been like, here you go. Could have been worse. They could have got me into whiskey.
Oh, true.
How about
What
you?
about you guys?
Have you always been
I
into
mean-
coffee?
We're Arabs, right? So coffee for us is like this Turkish coffee thing. It's like we have it every day after food mainly, and then you just grow into it. Like you don't, like I've never heard my parents like, no, you're too young for coffee. No, I was like, you want coffee? Okay, sugar, no sugar, no sugar. That's the man. That's it. And then they had this thing where they always tell you, like when you're a kid, oh, don't drink coffee because drinking coffee will grow your mustache. Expecting like us guys to be like, oh no, I don't want a mustache, but secretly we'd be like sniffing coffee just to grow that mustache when we were kids. And yeah, basically that's where it started for us, like for me at least. And then I knew, then I learned how to make coffee, and making Turkish coffee is not like easy. You need to boil it like well enough, and you need to keep on stirring and taking it off the heat and back and off. So
That's why it.
that foamy thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to me, that coffee, like Turkish coffee, is the thing that I really like the most. And then comes like espresso and the Western way of drinking coffee. I would call it.
Interesting.
How
That's
about
pretty
you?
cool. With me, actually, I was like never into coffee when I was all throughout my 20s. I wasn't that into coffee. I was always a tea guy. I liked the green teas and the black teas and all that.
That
Then
checks out.
when I got married, actually, my wife was big into coffee, and she got me into it. So I started out like with the sweet stuff, with the hazelnut pumps and all that,
Pumpkin spice
all the
latte.
lattes and all that. But then the older I got, just with the sweetness of the drink, you don't like it gets quite sickening, I'd say. And then I started getting into with the first coffee. I actually started getting into what was a French press because my wife bought me a French press on my birthday, and I wanted to kind of get into the whole brewing it on your own, doing all the grinding and all that, and that's how I got into coffee.
Were you that guy that would go ahead and actually measure like 18 grams of coffee? on
Yeah,
the dot?
so it's actual, especially when you brew it. Like
You have
there's
to measure
a
it.
difference of what's the grammage between
Yeah, so
or the
you
ratio
use-
between a
30 grams to 500 milliliters of water.
yeah. So there's a difference depending on what method you use. If it's a French press, it's also a different grind and all that. All that jazz.
It's 16.6 milliliters per gram of coffee for French press.
That's a nerd alert right there.
No, there you go. And then you,
Banter, not
and
bullying.
you're not actually supposed to plunge the coffee plunger down. James
you're supposed
Hoffman.
to just
James
wait for
Hoffman
it,
was the video that I actually watched to make a French press.
Yeah, so he's like the OG of the coffee world.
Yeah,
He won
100%.
the coffee prize back in 2002
Coffee
or
prize?
something. Yeah, the World Barista Championships. And then he owns one of the best coffee shops in London.
Really?
Yeah, and he also owns one of the best roasteries in the
I
UK.
thought he was just
Square Mile.
just a YouTuber.
No,
That's what I thought. Like,
he's
this
like
guy's
a
good.
proper businessman.
He's famous for a reason.
He's huge. His coffee roastery is huge. Like, imagine Espresso Lab times 10. It's called Square Mile.
Is his coffee any good?
Yeah,
Of course it's good.
Is his coffee good? Yeah, well.
Not really.
they're like one of
Not
the
every day.
top roasters in the world, and they have one of the best coffee shops in London.
Have you been?
Yeah,
Better than Espresso Lab?
no, it's up there, so it's like world renowned. This coffee shop.
But for you, Espresso Lab is number one.
But for me, Espresso Lab Dubai is the best coffee shop
Why?
in the world. Just their
He
coffee
invested
is
in it.
Because he's invested in it, exactly.
No, not
He wants to promote it.
I think Sheikh Hamdan just invested in it. But yeah, it's amazing. So I think they've also bought some farms in Brazil, so they can do the whole bean
Source
to
the
cup,
beans and
all the way.
everything.
What about Arabica? Do you have,
Percentage Arabica. So
Isn't that a Japanese?
Yeah.
it is a Japanese guy.
it's a Japanese brand. Actually, it's not a percentage. It's actually supposed to signify a branch, coffee branch, with
Oh, and
two
the
beans on it.
beans?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
No, the coffee is good, but I've got a pet hate when it comes to Arabica.
Why?
They will only serve coffee in a paper cup.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm like, it's horrible. It totally changes the characteristics of that cup.
In the
of coffee.
takeaway a cup, you mean? That's the only way they do it?
No, and also like some of these places, they serve you with a wooden straw. And every time you take a sip from it, it just tastes like wood or bamboo that you're
Yeah.
sucking.
And then it actually goes ahead and becomes like all flimsy after a while.
Yeah.
But
becomes
it
tall
saves
and-
the environment. You don't kill animals in the sea, but you kill trees.
Yeah.
So
What the hell are you on about with the trees and shit? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's
the
it's
whole
what-
reason why they made like
wooden,
paper
right?
and wooden straws
It-
is because plastic is bad for the ocean.
Ah.
But at the same time, they're killing like literally they're cutting down trees to
But
make it. So
I think
it's-
what they're doing is using recycled materials to actually make the paper.
Yeah, but the new Starbucks CEO is
Let's
flying.
not talk
He's
about
flying
Starbucks.
from like Los Angeles to Seattle every day for work
Their
on his private jet.
coffee is really bad.
They're really bad in general.
I don't consider it coffee. I don't know. Big chain coffee. I don't consider it coffee.
They're never gonna sponsor us, but we don't need it.
Which big chain place would you say has
Cafe
good
Nero
coffee?
has decent coffee.
A
They have
Cafe
decent
Nero.
sandwiches also.
Yeah, Cafe Nero.
The food is good.
Shout out to Cafe Nero.
Tim Hortons.
You're gonna give shout outs to everyone.
Yeah, 'cause
without
I'm
us
hoping
earning a
they'll-
buck.
They're gonna love us.
Laura used to work there,
Yeah,
Cafe Nero.
Oh, really?
And I used to work at Tim's.
No way.
So we have two
Coffee
baristas in
wars.
house.
You know, is that
Coffee
thing we do?
works, yeah.
We look
We
at,
hire
look at
baristas.
past
Yeah.
coffee shop employees.
Yeah.
That's the hiring criteria.
And the problem is both of them don't really know how to do really good coffee. Can you do really good coffee?
Do you know what's ironic?
I don't remember it.
There are two people that worked at a coffee place, right? But for some reason, I was put in charge of getting a coffee machine. That makes no sense.
No, you're supposed to be a coffee drinker to buy the coffee machine, like someone who's into coffee, not someone that's worked at a.
Actually, I would argue the fact that they've worked in the business, they know the ins and outs of coffee. Wouldn't you
I
agree?
mean, not really. The way they train you is not really.
This is coffee. This is button. You press button, coffee comes down. You serve.
What's your opinion
Actually,
on
not really.
Because they do like they have those machines, right? It's not actually you
No,
doing
they
the
do.
coffee.
No, so
Like in Tim Hortons, at least.
I think like Cafe Nero and stuff, they actually have.
yeah, so they
proper-
have the manual espresso machine, but I remember at Tim's they do have basically something that generates the espresso for you, but you need to remember like, okay, the small has like 2 ounce, 1.5 ounce. The
so
medium has
it's like a vending machine. Like it's like a machine, but for coffee.
yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, and even
McDonald's has
their,
that as well.
I think their signature is, I'm exposing them right now, oh my god.
Brewed coffee?
Yeah.
No,
Or the French vanilla?
Are you
Yeah,
allowed to say any of these things?
I think so. I'm not employed there anymore.
Did you sign an NDA?
I can say whatever.
Are you planning to
whatever
ever
I
go
want.
back?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not to make coffee at least.
to make sandwiches now.
I used to do sandwiches, and then I started getting really allergic to like the egg smell over there.
Oh,
And I would start throwing up in the middle of my shift. So
Oh my
I was
God.
just like, never mind.
Which branch were you working in?
Latifa Tower.
no, I'll never go there, guys.
That's like the main one.
In Latifah Tower, which area is that?
It's,
Zuid?
it's near World Trade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right next to it. So yeah. But it was interesting. They gave us like a whole manual and we had to learn all about it. But yeah, their French vanilla is their signature. But that's basically you just put powder into the machine and the machine,
Yeah.
you press a button.
You can buy that powder off like the supermarkets. They sell it.
It's
now.
not the
Yeah.
ice cap?
There it is the ice cap as well. They use something called the Java mix, but that's also pre-made.
Because that's my guilty pleasure.
Ice cap?
Yeah, I remember
Have you ever
when
tried
we
it
were,
with coconut milk?
when we were in
It gives
Canada.
like a hint of coconut in it.
I've never
Not
tried
bad.
a coconut milk, but like I remember the last time I went to Canada, we were on a road trip from at Windsor, driving up to Ottawa, which is like a 10-hour drive for my brother's graduation, and we hit probably like maybe 3 to Tim Hortons on the way, and I had an ice cap in each one of them. Middle
all
of the
the
road, I had to go to the bathroom, and they had to find a gas station.
Were they all the same? Or did you find like a different ice cap taste in
No,
each
no.
one of them?
I think that there's a difference in taste between the ice cap I had in Canada and the ice cap I've had here.
Yeah.
Over there, it's a lot more creamy.
There's
Why-
probably
why is
They,
that
they
ice
have
cap?
like a
Something in it.
blender.
Basically, it's
Iced
like
cappuccino.
it's an iced a cappuccino that's blended with ice. So it's
So
like
instead of having like
a really
over
sweet
ice, it's
drink.
actually
Slush.
crushed out. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, they like when I see them doing it here, because it's also a machine. They don't really. You're supposed to put it like those McFlurries and
Yes.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it's always like broken. The machine is like, the machine is broken. We can't shake it for you or whatever. Here they don't do that as well. Like at least the Tim Hortons I went to, they just serve it to you as is. So you end up actually like drinking all the coffee that's sitting down there, and then left off with like ice and milk, which
No, the
doesn't
key
really-
is
the
to is to twirl and suck, twirl and
Yeah,
take a sip.
but that's the thing.
But it's not creamy. The one here is not creamy.
That's the thing, because it's supposed to be
Still
in the
talking about
machine.
coffee?
Okay. Banter, not bullying, chief.
What about you, Omar?
What's your
What's your favorite twirl and suck?
What's your
drink?
guilty pleasure?
When it comes to coffee?
No, chocolate is his guilty pleasure. He looks like a chocolate guy.
Yeah, no, I like, see if you go to, I've got Costa in my street, 2 Costas in my street. But one of them
He's
is
on
in
the table, too.
Yeah, be careful.
One of them
It
is,
shook all the mics.
sorry guys. One of them is in the Emirates building. So they have, because Emirates is the license holder for Costa in the region. And they have this thing when you have an iced Americano, they'll put it into a can and it becomes like a proper, closed can. So you just like open it like a can and then you drink it. And so you just carry it a bit with you, put it in your car.
What's the point?
It's so good. So it becomes like a can. So instead of having like a plastic cup, it's a proper can.
Just a can.
What's the
Can.
point?
I don't know, it just feels better.
They only do it there.
Only did there.
Have you guys ever noticed a taste like difference when you get coffee from a Dubai Mall branch versus like a standalone wherever you get your coffee from?
Like in Tim Hortons, you mean?
In general,
No?
No.
really?
What does Dubai Mall have to do with it? They put more caffeine in it, so people are like running around the mall more.
Not really, but again, It'll feel like I'm exposing
You don't.
branches.
This will
But
be a
inside scoop.
This is a spicy episode, eh?
And this is spicy episode.
Giving out all the trade secrets.
But essentially, at Tim's, we have a practical training. So after we finish like our theory and like, oh, you get all full marks, you remember the recipe, amazing. Like after a few weeks, they'll come and observe you in terms of what you're doing, the drinks you're making and all of that. And they'll all come, since I was in Latifa, they'll all come to the Latifa Tower branch to actually do their test. So they come. So all of the Latifa employees were like passing colors and amazing. Everybody remembered the recipe because like they're always there. Like, and some customers are like, why is, you know, a trainee messing up the taste of my coffee? So you really need to be like at the top level. But the people from Dubai Mall, it was so interesting. They all came. None of them remembered their recipes. Nothing. So basically, they all had their like 6 weeks or something at Dubai Mall, and then they come back to Latifa to actually do their test. Mm-hmm. So none of them remembered anything. So basically, in Dubai Mall, you're in such a rush to make everything that you don't follow the standard recipe at all. So when you actually come for the test, you forget about what the hell you were doing.
So in Dubai Mall, it sucks.
Basically. But
or it's better in Dubai Mall.
it's either that or
Their
it's
own
better.
touch to it. They're like, this is a specialized cap.
Yeah.
It tastes like mint.
Yeah, like see, ice caps and French vanillas are really difficult to mess up because they're pre-made.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like a frappe, for example, or some other thing where it's actually a recipe that you have to follow, or like a cappuccino or a latte where you need to have like specific levels of espresso, right? They mess it up apparently, but I haven't tasted it personally, so I have no idea. But that's my experience from there. I don't think anybody remembered the recipes.
So what else did you do other than, you know, working as a barista or in Tim's?
What else did I do?
Was this like before you started your actual professional career? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was right out of high school.
Oh, okay. So before college, basically.
Yeah,
Or during college.
Yeah, before. Because basically I need to collect some money to pay off my deposit. So I was like, okay, let me work part-time and I'll do this and I'll pay off my deposit. So I did that. And then I went into really random currency technology company. And then I came to SmartCrowd.
Wait, what was before SmartCrowd?
Yeah.
No, what was before SmartCrowd?
There was another company. It was currency technology.
What's
They
a
basically
currency
produce like,
Technology.
you know, the ATMs and stuff that go into every center or every bank around the world. They basically produce the banknote processing and destruction machines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do a lot of like different stuff. So that's their like main line of business. Then they do like more cybersecurity. They do apps, blah, blah, all of that stuff.
And you had an internship there?
Yeah.
So you can help us rob at ATM.
Like, you know, all
Maybe.
the trade secrets of that one.
No.
Is there like a secret code you put into like
Forget
the
about the
keypad
Tim
of-
Hortons. Tell us about the ATMs.
I always had like in my mind is like you go to an ATM, you put like a
Code.
like an actual code, and then it starts
It'll
spitting out
dismantle.
like money.
Yeah.
Does it happen?
Is there
No?
such a good one?
I don't know any. I know banknote destruction machines. I can tell you about that.
And what did you do in college?
What did I do in college? Like job wise?
No, like studied in uni.
Study, I did business and information systems.
Bro, you hired her. Like,
What
you
the-
read her CV.
No, I
And
didn't.
gave her a job.
Actually, I've never seen her CV.
You never seen her CV?
I had no idea what she studied in university.
That's so funny. He just likes me.
Yeah, he's like, I have a good feeling about this one. You're hired.
No, I'm serious. Like we worked together when she was an intern at SmartCrowd, and then I went away, and then I came back, and then she went away, and I always was like, Maleeha was good. Need to get Maleeha back. And yeah, and when I reached out to her, no, I didn't ask her like what she was doing.
Really? Like,
You asked me what I was doing.
there wasn't
No,
the job
like what
opening
did
that
you
you
do
applied
before
for.
in your university?
no.
I had no idea.
So you had a job and all that kind of stuff. Then Adam just
Came in and ruined her life.
pops up and say, "Hey, what's going on? Do you wanna
Yeah.
come work for us?"
Pretty much.
Cool beans.
So after your internship in SmartCrowd, where did you go?
No, I went back to uni. And then I think I worked at Deloitte while I was at uni. And what else? Yeah, I think I came back here again in 2020 while it was COVID.
But that time I wasn't here.
Yeah, you weren't here. It was Nader.
Yeah.
Nader and Hassan were there. So yeah, it was that. And then I went to this company called Horizontal right before SmartCrowd. They were like an agency where you do like UX and development and all of that. One of my university lecturers actually took me under her wing. And she was like, I believe in you. Yeah. And then we started working together. And I think, no offense, she was my best manager.
Whoa. That's brilliant.
Ouch.
Tolan, who's your best manager ever?
In the world?
Yeah.
Like
in the world.
in the world.
How many have you had?
How many
best
places
manager.
in the world have you worked?
So my previous job,
No, who's your best manager?
was my best manager?
It's a one-word answer.
He's
It's a
waiting
one-
for you to say you.
Well,
Clearly.
at the moment it's you.
Yes.
At the moment. At the moment.
How will
Okay,
you
let's
at the
go.
moment have multiple managers?
We never know. Let's say tomorrow he fires me. He's not going to be the best manager I've had.
No.
That's going to change on the
Yeah,
spot.
so I'm already not her best manager, so I just can just do that.
Yeah, you
And
just
not-
fire.
I'm not gonna drop in
No,
rankings.
actually, now what you have the chance is to become her favorite manager.
Actually, I agree also with her, because like without that manager, she wouldn't have been the person she is right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she wouldn't have been hired again at SmartCrowd.
That's true.
Fair.
So basically, there's no chance of him overtaking that other.
You only
lady to
have
be
you
the best
only have
manager.
one mentor. That's it. Like one mentor spot.
Yes, that's me.
No. I love your romance. It started from
Is it really?
TriCap.
Yeah.
Did it start from TriCap?
I saw it blooming from there.
Actually, no. I remember the first time.
You laid eyes on me.
The first time I saw you, I remember it was when you came into
Yeah, me with this.
to what's the place to like Nest.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, this guy's either, I don't know, like why it was that long hair that you had. I'm like, he's either like Pakistani or Indian or Italian, and I don't know like why I had Italian in my head. Like from the south of Italy or something
then
like
you
that.
heard-
Bro,
his
is
accent.
Is he gonna come?
Yeah, and then I heard his accent,
Italian
and then like, where the hell is this guy from?
I'd literally just come back from Italy
Yeah.
Oh,
like
wow.
a few days before.
Yeah. So
I'm so curious. How did your interview go?
I did an interview with him.
No,
I
he joined
interviewed
a week before me.
He joined
And
you.
Ammar.
Who did you who interviewed you?
It's Riz and Ammar. It was one of the weirdest
Oh.
interviews ever because I realized both of them probably didn't know anything about
Bro, you're
compliance.
exposing SmartCrowd.
No, it's
it's
true
fine,
because
yeah.
when I was speaking to this, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I've already hired a guy." I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
yeah, and then once I got the job, the people that trained me technically was Adnan and Wafa, and Wafa was in the process of leaving as well.
Yeah.
And there
So-
was Manu, but he never actually spoke to Manu.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I remember, so basically it was Adnan just, whatever the tasks that Adnan was given, he just basically just put it on my lap, say, hey man, this is basically what you do. And yeah, and then
This is your
one
process.
month in, Omar, he joined.
Not 1 month. It was like 1 week later, 2 weeks later.
No, he spent some time.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, he
there a
spent
bit
like
earlier.
his first month.
Yeah, I was one month on my own doing POAs and stuff, and then I
Not on
remember
your own. Not on your own.
with Adnan.
Yeah,
with
No,
Adnan.
it's like I came in, I was on my own, and I did all this, and I turned it around.
There was a handover, right? But then I remember that like when Omar he joined as a compliance officer, I booked a meeting with him and I started explaining this is how we do POAs and stuff. And in hindsight, right, I'm just remembering he was like, okay, yeah. But then now that I remember, he probably was like,
I'm not doing
I'm not
POAs.
interested in any of this shit.
How to check the address of on a
Address,
on
yeah. And he was just
utility bill.
I think at times just being polite, just going like, all right, no worries. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you joined SmartCrowd again, what was your impression? Because the team was a lot bigger then, right?
Was
when,
it?
When you came back.
Yeah, I think it was only like 5 people when I was there initially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Only
I
5?
think it was just me, Atham, Shar, Wafa, Siddiq, and
that's it.
Mash. Yeah. It was just us.
Like initially in SmartCrowd.
Yeah.
Like no Clarissa? No.
No. Like
No
when
one.
when I first joined, it was only
Probably only Shahrukh.
Sadiq, Sharak, Jake, and myself.
Oh yeah, Jake was there when I joined.
So would that team do everything from getting the property and filling it up and registering and
Yeah,
compliance? It was
Yeah.
just you guys.
Yeah.
I remember
Pretty
you
much.
guys used to do compliance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, technically, we used to do everything.
Yeah. You become the best boss when you actually do everything.
Yeah.
And there was a time I remember where, so we had no idea how to fund properties because we were like just a handful and we were like a sandbox license thing. And we put in a property and every time we would literally just watch and look at the property go like one investment at a time. And the moment a new investment comes in, we all like stop and like,
Oh
new
my
investment
god.
came in. Look at that. Ooh. And we actually did that to like every time we have a new investor, we would like celebrate in the office.
Yeah. At that point, I mean, I feel like you have to celebrate your
Yeah.
really small little wins and
And every time we like
milestones.
fund a property, we used to go like have lunch together. It's like, yeah, we funded a property.
No, that must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it took like ages to fund the property back then because it was limited. The minimum was like around 25,000 dirhams.
But the minimum.
Yeah.
Ah, this was before all the regulations that
Yeah,
came
before
in
the
and all
full
that.
license, right? It was this was the sandbox license, and I think you had a maximum of 80 investors per property, if I'm not mistaken. There was like a number, so
No way.
it made it even like the restrictions were like super hard. And the thing is, there was not a single other company doing this, right? In this region at least. So to go ahead and not convince, but to talk to people and tell them that what we do is legit without them like looking at us like, is this another Dubai scam?
Yeah, it must
It
have been
was
crazy.
so hard. It was so hard. And I remember like every single person that wanted to invest in a property would ask us if they can come to the office and see if we actually exist. And they would come to the office. Like it was like the old fintech hive in the IFC, and they would come and they would like literally sit in a glass meeting room with like Jake or with Siddiq, and they would start and like telling them about this and how it actually works. So it was so manual. It wasn't that digital.
Yeah. So it was really interesting when I came back.
And we used to have like those events, like live events. We used to
Oh yeah.
tell people to come to the like we would book this space in the hive, and we would put like a presentation, and we would order like those Operation Falafel mini
Falafel sliders. I remember
people, and we would
that.
have like 50 people come in, and they would listen to like a presentation about this. It was like
pretty
really
cool.
nice. Like early, like listen, nothing beats the early stages of a startup. You learn a lot, like unbelievable amount of stuff, because you have to like literally jump in, and whatever you need, someone needs help, just need to jump in, and there's no one teaching you because you're like what 4 or 5 people,
Yeah.
right? And everyone is like so occupied with their own shit. No one is gonna come and tell you, oh, you actually have to do it. Just like Google it. Just Google it. And back then there was no ChatGPT, no bullshit. You just have to go and wing it.
Yeah. That's what we were all doing basically.
Like I come from I'm software engineering, had zero clue what marketing or digital marketing is, and just had to jump in. And because actually the best manager I've ever had, Pali, he was my mentor. He hired me, and then he quit literally the first day of me joining.
That's
What a
so
nice
sad.
mentor.
Yeah, he was the chief marketing officer. And then I had to he sold me SmartCrowd. He's like, you're going to have the best time here. I'm going to teach you a lot of things. But I don't know anything about marketing. Don't worry. I'll teach you this. I'll teach you that.
And then he left.
First day, and I'm like, oh shit, now I have to learn all this by myself.
No, I was so upset when my ex-manager left. I was in the middle of my internship and then she left and I was like, oh my God, now I have to prove myself. So I had to really step up. But I can't imagine that would have been also really hard for you.
Yeah, especially that for me, because I came from like Cyprus to Dubai,
Yeah.
right?
New to the place.
For this job. Like I came here for like just to visit my grandma and his folks and stuff, and then found this internship, and then 10 days later I have this full-time job, and then the guy leaves, and I'm like, if I don't make it, I'm just out. I don't have no idea where to go. I'm like a fresh grad. I'm just stranded in this place.
Look
No,
at you
yeah.
now.
And what about you? Your first experience in the job world, career-wise?
Back
That
in the
was a long
70s,
time
what was it?
ago.
Back in the 50s, when TV used to close at like 7 p.m.
What TV?
The two stations they had.
PTV and ARY. No.
So I think I actually started work when I was about 13, 14, working in my father's restaurant every weekend. Age of 14 till about age of 24.
Wow.
So 10 years. Every weekend I was in the restaurant. It was a lot of fun.
What did you do around the restaurant?
Just being a waiter.
Did you cook or anything?
No, I was a waiter.
So you're never in the kitchen,
No, well, I just went to the kitchen to get stuff. But
as in to kind of.
It's like they were shoving food from the window. You would pick it up. But were you ever interested in actually cooking the food or becoming a
never.
chef?
Was any of your brothers interested in the cooking process?
No.
So it was only your dad.
even my dad never was.
Oh, really? So you had the cooks in.
My dad's a proper restaurateur, so he was mainly focused on the front of house.
Okay.
But we had like head chef who was there for like 35 years, and then another one who was there for like 30 years. Even the current one, I think, has been there for about 20 years or something.
Wow.
Is the specialty chicken tikka masala?
Yeah,
Do you want to tell them the story of that invention?
about the chicken tikka.
Chicken tikka, yeah. That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, so one day, it was back in the 1970s, some bus driver comes to the restaurant to eat, and he orders a chicken tikka, and it comes out as, the pieces of chicken. And he said, "This is a bit dry. I want something with a bit of sauce." So he takes it, the waiter takes it back to the kitchen, and my dad's sitting there, and my dad's having tomato soup. So the waiter goes, "Look, the customer said it's a bit dry." And my dad goes, "Okay, give it to me." Takes the tomato soup, takes the chicken, puts it in a pan, mixes it together, puts some spices. He goes, "There you go, give it to him." And
Tomato soup and chicken tikka.
yeah. And that's the origins of the chicken tikka masala.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's been, 40, 50 years or something.
That's crazy.
And how did it come to a point where it was declared the national dish?
So I think it just became more and more popular. I think in the 90s or 2000s, it became the national dish of the UK. It was just, every restaurant was selling it.
It's so funny, like the national dish of the UK is not actual food from
Fish and chips.
from the UK, or like not beans on toast or any of that.
Fish and chips, yeah. You'd
Yeah.
think it'd be something like that, but
Yeah. Sounds like a Pakistani dish.
But that's exactly it, right? So if you go to any major city in the UK, you will literally find so many Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi restaurants. From London to Manchester, Birmingham. Like, you'll find mile-long streets with just Indian, Pakistani restaurants. It's such a popular cuisine.
Hey, but what was like your first experience working as a lawyer, or like in your field, degree, compliance, whatever it is? Like, forget the restaurant stuff. Like after you graduated.
So after I graduated, I immediately came out here and got a job working for an investment company, which is focused on real estate. And this was 2008, just after just when the financial crisis hit. So September 2008, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, and the whole subprime mortgage situation happened. And I moved here, and the day I moved here, but the next day, Nikhil launched the new world's tallest tower, which was supposed to be here in Marina, and that's when the Atlantis got opened as well. And then that's when that next day was my first day in the job in World Trade Center Convention Tower, and downstairs they were having the property exhibition, Cityscape, and that was the biggest cityscape there's ever been, because there was people from all over the world. It was just crazy. People showcasing properties everywhere, launching so many new projects, but nobody was buying, and the market just crashed after that. It just went into free fall. So it was crazy. So I had quite a colourful career after that, 16 years.
What gave it color?
Well, within like a year, the company had gone bankrupt.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then Then we had moved into another company, which was also gone. It was so bad. 2009, 2010 here.
So every company you joined went bankrupt.
Oh my god.
In the first couple of
Nice.
Yikes.
because
Let's pray.
literally everything in Dubai was gone. It was gone. There was newspaper articles in the UK writing how Dubai's finished. Sand and animals will reclaim the skyscrapers and that kind of thing.
Wow.
There were stories of people sleeping in their Range Rovers. They lost their houses. Because you got to imagine, right? 2002, freehold properties started. So 2002, 2008, there's just a straight line up values. So people are buying property off plan, flipping it on within a few weeks. And what that meant was every developer was just trying to get in on the act. There was no escrow accounts or anything. So by 2008, there was property developments everywhere, from the world islands to people are making up islands in the middle of the sea. There was the world islands that was supposed to be surrounded by planets called the universe. There was Palm Jebel Ali, which was supposed to be surrounded by the waterfront.
They're doing Palm Jabal Ali now.
Yeah,
But
but
it took them
now.
like a while to
But that
redo
was
it.
launched then, right?
Oh, wow.
They already sold some of that land.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Then there's a waterfront. Then there's Palm Data, which was supposed to be like 3-4 times as bigger than all other palms. So it was just crazy. And because it was such a boom town, like similar to how it is now, right? But then there was less regulations. There was no escrow account. So all these developers were launching properties, taking money. 2008 financial crisis hit.
Not completing the
Nobody's
projects.
buying. Yeah, nobody's buying. Then people were not completing projects. Projects were lying for years. 10, 15 years, nobody was handing these projects over. So there was no jobs. There was no traffic.
Yeah, I remember that the roads were just empty almost all the time.
I was 11.
There was
You were
reports,
11.
There was
I wouldn't
reports that the airport car park was just filled with cars.
Oh, yeah.
People
Yeah.
were just leaving the cars and fleeing the country.
I feel like people still do that.
I think it's less. Like when you go to the car park now, you hardly ever see any dusty cars. Right? But then it was just like filled with cars that were
Yeah.
left and people were left.
Yeah, I feel like now as well, they make it really easy for you to come, try to get a job, make your life here, and if it doesn't work out, it's not like you don't have to run away anymore. There's,
Yeah.
so it's not as. I believe that they made bounce to check demeanor now. It's not a criminal offense. I think that was a big improvement.
So one of the things I used to do was, because the company was going bankrupt and people were not getting paid, a lot of my colleagues were getting picked up by the police because they had bounce checks and they were getting taken in prison. So I was going to the banks to try to negotiate with them. Okay, we'll give you this much money. Their family would be coming and saying, look, we'll give you this much money, the rest we'll give you over time. And the bank would be like, no, we're going to keep them in jail. It wasn't a pleasant time. Although I learned a lot, right? Because that was when everything was happening. Like, it was quite an interesting time. And then I started working with one of my relatives who was living here. We started doing gold iPhones and iPads. Gold and Co London. It was a bit of fun.
No wonder it was colorful.
Yeah, because there was no jobs. It was very, very tough.
And did you manage to sell any?
Yeah. So we started. So that's why I know GLT quite well, because there's a Damas factory here.
Yeah.
So we started selling through Damas, and through Damas, they had a shop in Burj Al Arab. So that's how my cousin got a contract to supply a gold iPad into every room of the Burj Al Arab.
Wow.
So
That's where it came from, right?
So yeah,
I watched a video, like a
remember?
documentary about
there you go.
this whole thing. Yeah,
that was us.
nice.
So we had to find suppliers who would take the iPhones and iPads, take it apart, and so I would take it to somewhere else who would varnish it, take all the stuff with the coating on the back of the iPad and iPhone off. Then somebody else who would engrave it with the name of the person who's buying it, name of our company, and then somebody else who would gold plate it. Then somebody else who would put a clear coat over it.
So it will be plated. It wouldn't, like, the aluminium body would not be removed and replaced with a gold, basically like a solid gold piece, right? 'Cause I'm thinking that would be like one heavy iPhone if that was the case.
So if you look at the iPad had a metal back. So we were able to take it apart, clear coat it, just clean it off and gold plate that metal,
Yeah.
put it back together. Whereas the iPhones were glass at the back. So we would remove that glass and replace it with the aluminium sheet.
That was a gold plate.
That was gold plated. So and then during that time, we were just making ends meet. I got a job with Emirates NBD private banking. So that's where my career started and took over. And
You to tie his hand to the chair.
I remember one day I got a call from my cousin and he's like, we need to make 2 iPads ASAP. I was like,
Wow. While you were in
but I'm
ENBD.
at work, right? Like, no, we need to do it now. It's like, what happened? He's like, we just got an order for 2 iPads from Damas and the lettering, and he goes, I'll send you the lettering. So I looked at the lettering, I was like, what does that say? It's like, from the King of Saudi Arabia to George Bush on your inaugural visit to Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
No way.
That was the lettering on the back of the iPad. And then Damas was going to put the Saudi emblem in diamonds and rubies and stuff. And that was the gift from...
Whoa.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of that? Of the iPad?
I do. I'll find it.
We'll put it up.
Can you put that up on Instagram?
I don't know. Well, it's been so long. It's been like 10 years.
We'll put it up in the video if we find it.
It's about 13 years ago. Yeah. 13, 14
That must
years
have
ago.
been like the most expensive iPad ever created.
Yeah.
Probably
You
the
should have
only-
taken like a Guinness World Record and then set it off.
I think at that time it was just everything was so new and exciting that social media wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah. That's an interesting career kind of path.
So then Emirates NBD private banking, I was there for about 3 years. And then I
It
moved.
didn't close down, so
Emirates NBD.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
And then I was with an Egyptian bank for about a year.
Did that one close down?
It's not. And then I moved into the DIFC and I worked as a consultant for a year. Then I was with a Swiss bank for about 3.5 years in the DIFC. And then I was moved into private equity, alternative investments and fund management for about 3.5 years in DIFC. Then I moved to be a regional head of a startup.
What brought you to SmartCrowd?
And then after that, I came to SmartCrowd.
I mean, you had a very like corporate-y type career.
Yeah.
How were you like SmartCrowd or like startups in general?
Yeah, so after I was working I thought I wanted to try something new, right? So I was working in fund management. Then I started working with the startup. And it was about 2 years. I was the regional CEO. The startup was based out of Tel Aviv. So yeah, I used to go there a lot.
I'm gonna bleep that.
Was based off like a fictional place.
Nowhere land.
As part of that, I had a nice tour of Jaffa, which is a beautiful place. It has one of the oldest mosques.
Is someone still here? I feel the washroom
Yeah, I think
opening.
Anas is.
There he is.
Oh my god.
I saw him
the
like
hell?
there lurking around and then moving.
We're just waving at him right now.
So yeah, and then one day I had a call with Riz. I always heard about SmartCrowd. I always thought it's a really good idea. And about 6 months before that, some of my friends who were early investors in SmartCrowd told me about it. And I got my wife to open up an account, and I opened an account. But for some reason, I just hadn't funded it yet. And then I got a call and said, okay, somebody called Riz, wants to speak to you. And I had known of Riz because we used to play football with, he used to work for Gems. We used to play football against Gems. And spoke to Riz. And I thought, okay, Riz is a cool guy. He's friends with a lot of the same friends as me, so I thought, okay, let's give it a go. Let's try it, see what happens. So that's what happened.
Nice.
Nice.
You guys look like you're falling asleep.
That's
It's like a bedtime story.
That's a proper that's a proper journey, yeah.
No, but well, like I think out of you've worked in a corporate, or like a semi-corporate.
I've worked in a corporate office in Kuwait. Yeah, and that would have been probably the main corporate I've worked in. All the other ones it was either a family business or a startup.
Yeah, I've never worked in like a proper corporate job. I've always had this thing where I'm against. I don't know why I'm against it. I've always been kind of feeling that startups, or at least like tech companies, even huge tech companies like let's say Google or Apple, they don't really feel like a corporate.
But they
Yeah.
end up being a corporate at some point, right?
Yeah, they do, but the
just
values or the way of work, the ethics, the values, and how they actually work from internally, they don't follow corporate they don't have the corporate mindset.
Yeah,
Really, because I'm generally not in the know, but like, is that just like a coating, but the insides of of these huge companies like Apple and Google, these guys inside, like the core of it has to be corporate, and then they just like Andy, with the facade of it, they just make it all bean bags and all that kind of stuff.
Yes and no, because like sometimes I've seen it in Deloitte as well. Like whenever they're working on like client projects and stuff like that, it's all like very small teams which are going to like different client sites. So when you're together, it just seems like one small team just like working on this nice little project. So yeah, they're structured like a corporate, but when you're actually like put into teams working together, it's kind of like that. And then
Yeah, so
it's
the
the same
hierarchy
as
is huge, right?
yeah, it's the same as like Google and stuff. When they have to put out things like different products and stuff like that, the way they work is not really traditional, I would say. And it's kind of interesting, like if somebody like you who hasn't like worked in a corporate, when they step into a corporate, it kind of feels like a bit transformative, because my ex-manager, who was the best manager.
I've heard that.
Actually, I'm not a manager. I'm a leader. That's why I'm on that spectrum.
Yeah, no, so she was very like, we were working on a project with Wassel Properties, and that's where we would benchmark a lot of SmartCrowd stuff, funnily. But basically, she always had this mind. She was also very like, I don't want to comply with corporate culture and the way things work and all of that. So she decided to dye her hair yellow. And then
I think you should do that.
That's what it takes.
But like yellow, it's not blonde, it's yellow.
yeah, like fully yellow,
Okay.
right? Like yellow from the top and green from the bottom, I think. And it was really nice. So her name is Trixie, and like her trademark is basically that she keeps changing different hair colors. So when I met her, her hair was pink. And then when I was in Wessel with her hair was yellow. And
What was it?
there's
man?
like eras, like different eras. So different hair for different eras, basically. So
It's like the Eras tour.
yeah, basically. So she was like, interesting when the dye my hair. But like the way people receive you when you're like that is so odd.
Yeah, especially in a
Over
corporate.
here.
In corporate, especially
So, like,
here.
wait,
So when
what?
she walked into Wassel with like that yellow hair and like Arabs and like really senior people and like everybody around you is just like, oh yeah, that yellow haired girl is probably waiting at the reception, So it was really interesting to see like those kinds of people actually trying to bring transformative change in those kind of environments. It's really nice, actually.
It's pretty
No.
cool. Like it's it's quite ballsy. I'd say it's especially in Dubai. I feel it's I feel many of the of the traditional companies over here are not as progressive as like these big multinationals.
No,
But the
and you
thing is,
learn a
even-
lot from it.
But even those like big multinationals, corporates, the big fives, whatever it is, they started like from a while ago because they've seen like the boom of startups. They've started to implement a lot of startups ecosystem mindset into their corporates as well. Like we've seen that, and even I think in Deloitte and in EY, there's a lot of restructuring that happened and bringing in that startup kind of mindset into corporates because it works, right? It's not like we're not only talking about working remotely, for example, or wearing flip-flops to the office. But there's a lot of things that startups do well, which is having
Innovation and
people,
all that kind of
having a certain person not fixed into one job, 1, 2, 3, and that's it, but jumping around and doing multiple things. So as Maleeha said, like yes, the teams will become smaller, but that doesn't mean that their work output or the things that they're focusing on becomes less. It actually stays the same, but people start doing multiple things and jumping around and doing multiple things because A, multitasking works, B, you get bored doing the same thing over and over again for months. Your productivity isn't gonna always be stable, if not going down, right?
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
So that's why I think, that's one thing that startups actually really introduced is that one person can do multiple things and they can be really good at it. It's not just, khalas, you do 1, 2, 3 and that's it. So yeah.
Yeah, also culture and like color, the way they do their offices now. Like a lot of people are changing the way they set up their offices and the beanbags, like you said, doing a lot of that, like putting up the fancy post-its and being like design thinking and all of that kind
But
of
that's the
stuff.
thing, because you
I feel
don't
like-
see cubicles anymore, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
That's true.
this whole image of old offices and corporates were like, cubicles, you have this cubicle and this is where you sit. We allow you to put a picture of your family and that's it. You don't see that much. It's just all open spaces and you can work here, you have a couch, you have that. And I think this is a bit smart where like, we're going to make it feel so homey and cozy, the office, that you're actually going to spend
More
more than
time.
your working hours here.
Yeah.
Doing more shit. So
But one of the things I've noticed, like in Dubai, is that there is let's just say, just to play the devil's, advocate, they give you all that, right? But then, like, I've seen it like in agencies, right? Like media agencies and stuff, where with the term overly worked is an understatement. Like they like I remember I did an internship in a media agency, and our one of the clients that we had that I was working on was IKEA. So we would randomly have to go to the IKEA in Jebel Ali to shoot content and all that stuff, and we could only do that from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. So I remember one time I was in the office, and my manager gives me a call and says, "Oh, by the way, go home and sleep." Like, what? It's like 11 a.m. So like, yeah, because we have to go to IKEA at 10 p.m. and pull a 12-hour. I was like, but at this point, I was in my 30s. So and my boss was like, in her like low 20s. I don't have the energy for that kind of lifestyle
But
whatsoever.
you didn't have bath time back then, right?
No bath time or nothing, right?
Yeah, see,
right?
so you could have pulled it off. It's fine.
No, I pulled it off like once. With the rest of the week, I was just messed up.
Problem is, you make 30s sound like it's 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
In your 30s, you should still have like shitload of energy, man.
Yeah,
It's
but to pull off a 12-hour all-nighter.
Bro, I see my dad in
10
his 60s
a.m.
pulling off that. Seriously.
That's crazy.
Bro, man, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
but
not
also
built for
like
that, man.
since it was an agency,
I like my structure, in general, but just
Omar, you know what to
give
do.
me a call.
Exactly.
Give me a call in the middle of the day and say, "Hey, go home and sleep." Okay.
At least he gave you the chance to go home and sleep.
Knock myself out. Like, it's just that
You're too
kind
soft,
of culture. I'm not a big fan of it.
no, but like
it's just straight up.
since it was an agency, was it like budgeted time or what was it?
Were you getting paid for that?
Because like
I was an intern, so
I mean, you get paid, but like
you get paid, right? But
agency setup is kind of like if you were overworking, that means you're losing company money because you're only supposed to work specific hours on specific projects. So
Oh, really?
it was probably
Yeah, because you
like
get paid, let's say,
you get paid
by
for your
hour,
time,
right?
Yeah.
From the client itself. Not you as an employee, but how the agency is making money from the client. But that's the thing, like, if you want to take back and actually look at why they did that, when are they going to shoot? When people are in the store? Of course, when
Yeah.
people are off.
I understand. It's okay. I need but there was like no structure. Just we can pull off an all-nighter now, like just on the spot. It's just
I remember
it's
pulling
not
off multiple all-nighters when I was working in Apple, especially when new products used to come in, and we had to do a lot of work for them because we had to structure, okay, how can we sell this and where we should put it, and new shipments would come at like literally like 12 a.m. and we have to stay and count everything that's coming in and register every single serial number all until like 5-6 a.m. and we would continue with a normal day after it. And it was like Jordan, it was like you don't get to say like, can I go back home and sleep for a bit? No, you just have to pull it off.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And I was
That's not
and
cool.
I was 16.
Okay, yeah, okay. At 16, yeah, 100%, 100%.
No, you
Do it now.
I can.
No, you think you
I
can?
think he does already.
I do.
I think I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes I do stay up until like 4 or 5 a.m.
I've seen him online at 4 a.m.
like getting like messages from Rez when he wakes up like to do his fajr, and I'm like just up and just go work on something. That's I don't know. The thing for me is, if you really enjoy it, you'll find the time to do it and you'll find the energy to do it.
That's what I always tell you as well. Like you guys laugh at it. It
Doesn't feel like work.
doesn't feel like work here.
Yeah. Well, if you really enjoy it and you like what you're doing, like for example, you're enjoying fatherhood, right?
Yeah.
Right. So would you ever say like, I don't want to wake up
gonna
for
give
my
up?
kid because it's
No,
too
I have
early?
to, right?
Yeah, it's not. There's a difference between you have to
And you want to.
and you want to because you enjoy it, you like it.
Yeah, I
Work
understand.
like working for a company or working for an idea or whatever it is that you feel like, this is something really I enjoy doing this. You can do it. Why? Tell me, why would a doctor at his 50s or 60s wake up in the middle of the night to go save a life?
For emergency.
Because he doesn't have the energy to do it? Of course he has the energy to do it, but because he has to, he like it. He's there to save that life. Imagine you're a doctor and like someone calls you like, oh, someone's in an accident and we need you to come in. It's like, oh, I don't have the energy for this. Bye.
Yeah. I get what you mean. But like, I guess because I was doing it as an intern.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my
exactly.
thing.
It's like,
I was like, that makes no sense.
Or like a pilot that was like, oh, my time's up. I'm going to sleep. I don't care.
Just leave the plane.
Yeah.
Autopilot works.
How are your guys' investments doing? What's the news? What's the juice?
I've honestly been a bit offline.
You said that last podcast. Come on.
I've honestly been a bit
like
off.
This timing of the
mentally.
year, like end of December to the first half of Jan, I've never actually felt good about this time to make any financial decisions.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, it's always like I don't know what's happening. Because also like kind of like your mind resets of what you want 2025 goals to be, like your personal goals, financial goals, whatever. So making any moves right now is a bit risky until you figure out like, okay, what do you want to do in your life this year?
But
What
the
do you
market's
want to
been in
do
the
in your
red.
life this year?
I have no idea, to be honest. No, I think I want to have a little bit of exposure into investing in startups. I think start like at least through like crowdfunding platforms like Eureka or Crowdcube, those kind of platforms where they give you a chance to invest in like startups. I think that's what my portfolio is missing right now. Like, fine, I have a little bit of stocks, crypto, ETFs, but I do think that I want to invest in a couple of startups. There's a lot of really nice ideas out there, and I don't want to miss out on them. So that's my goal for this year. And maybe explore something that we talked about before, which is like investing in those alternative assets, like art, antiques, classic cars, football clubs, I don't know.
Yeah. What are you most interested in? Like art, wine? Any of that
Whiskey.
stuff? Whiskey.
Whiskey
You can
barrel.
invest in whiskey barrels now or something. Yeah. No, so for me is again, I haven't read about them much to understand how they appreciate in value, and I know that specific vineyards in Italy or in places in Europe, they do produce unique kind of wine and stuff. But I'm still also kind of in that place where like, do I want to invest in such a thing, or do I want to stick to a little bit something that I understand at least, like startups, for example? Like I can read I can look at a pitch and I can look at people behind a startup and understand if this is something that has potential or not. I have no idea if this wine barrel will have potential to go up in value or not. So for me, I might skip that. Art, I would just do it to understand more about. I like art. I'm not an expert in it, but having it in your portfolio is never like a bad decision, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So I've been investing in art since I was about 19.
In art?
Yeah.
We find out something new about this guy
What kind of
every
art?
day.
Well, I started off with Scottish art.
What's Scottish art?
So it's like
Windpipes?
Paintings of people and they have bagpipes
it
everywhere.
could be like it's like just
Windpipes.
artists
windpipe,
based in
bagpipe.
Scotland, right?
Bagpipes.
So I've got my house in Glasgow. I've got some really nice paintings, which I've been buying over the years. Some of them have really appreciated in value.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would you if you were to put a percentage
So
on
for
your art
example,
collection?
I think the first one that I bought for about £1,000 or £1,500, which is about 5,000 dirhams, right? 5,000, 6,000 dirhams. Must be now worth about 30,000 dirhams
Why?
after 20 years.
What do you mean,
put a
why?
price on that?
What makes it?
Just
What
value
makes it
you-
appreciate? Is it the name of the artist? If he dies or something, does it just
Exactly.
pop? Like what's
So
the?
I had this artist called John Bellany, and he died. His artwork appreciated in value. That's
Just
sold out at
invest in a
auction.
bunch of old artists and wait for them to die.
But
Yeah,
not
just-
all of them will appreciate it. It also depends on like the market, what's hot, what people are liking. It could be like paintings of ships or in. You buy that.
It could be a banana stuck to a wall.
It could be a banana stuck to a wall. And
There's
you can
like
just buy it and
words
eat it.
on walls that randomly are like, oh, modern art. It's gonna appreciate like crazy at
Yeah,
some
like
point.
take time to chill.
Oh, I love contemporary
Oh
art.
yeah, that.
Actually, they're opening a really like the Abu Dhabi. What's it called?
Guggenheim.
Yes, we need to go there once it's open.
So the so the Louvre is open in Abu Dhabi, right? And then
wait, what? What's this look?
What happened?
Nothing. I'm not gonna say anything. Finish with what you're saying. About the Louvre.
Louvre.
It's the Louvre, right?
Louvre,
The Louvre.
Louvre Guggenheim.
So the Louvre Guggenheim is opening soon. The Sheikh Zayed National, I think there's a natural history museum opening. The Sheikh Zayed Museum. There's a few. There's like 5-6 of them on Sadia Island. It's quite exciting.
Have you been to the Louvre, Abu Dhabi one?
I've been once with my wife. Remember, it was in the summer.
You don't like it?
I'm just not an art. With the history part was really nice, but the art part I just skipped through, to be honest.
I'm the opposite. I'm not a huge fan of the history bit, but I love the art.
No. With me, I'm a big history buff. I wanted to ask before we end the podcast, because with Mal is probably one of the youngest, is the youngest person here.
One of the youngest. Like we're 4 people, man.
No. Generally, with her generation, how do you in your social circle, generally speaking, how do you guys view traditional investing, cryptos, stocks, or art? What do you notice is the driving a force behind investing, if there is one?
Driving force. I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that, I don't know, a lot of the things in our time are like crazy inflated. Like it's so difficult to buy a house. It's so difficult to buy everything in general.
100%.
Education is crazy. Because like my parents were trying to save money for my education since God knows when. And we never got to that was like pennies when we actually got to the point. So at this point in time, it's like you cannot live on just one thing. So that's like the main driving force that we talk about. But
So passive income, basically.
yeah, so like we're much more as well. I think you guys mentioned it in some other episode as well. Like we're much more inclined to actually talk about it and be more educated about it, because like our parents never really said anything.
And because in our generation,
For anything.
I feel like it wasn't even on our minds when
We
when
watched
when we
our
were
parents
age.
spend it all. And we're like, nice.
Yeah,
Money,
that's what
free
I'm gonna
money coming
do.
in. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we never actually understood the fact that you have to pay for something. Wait, you have to save up for
No,
something?
but what Mal mentions is is quite interesting. I think when we were at the time of making our money and spending it, the effects of inflation, it wasn't as hard hitting as post COVID, for example, where it was it's quite blatant in your face every year. The increasing in prices of general things has been quite high worldwide. I still remember, and I tell this story to people that I come here. I remember when I was in high school, the cool thing to do, not the cool thing, but what we used to do.
Was it cool for you at least?
At the end of the week, we'd my dad would give me like 100, and we'd go to Dera city center. I'd watch a movie. I'd buy something, and I'd have dinner, and I'll take a
100
cab
dirhams.
back all in that 100 dirhams, and I spend it all, and I've
Now it barely gets you like a movie ticket.
yeah. Now it just
Jeez.
makes no sense. But the back then, I remember when the most expensive thing on the menu in Chili's was like a T-bone steak for 65. You know what I mean? And like now you can barely get a sandwich with that
Yeah.
price.
That's true.
In most places.
But also the thing is, yes, inflation, but I don't know. To me, it does feel that some brands or some companies or whatever it is, they're kind of making it that we want this to be the norm, right? When I introduce a chocolate for 70 dirhams, right? Because I know some people can afford it, like people will afford it, and now it's coming to the thing where like when you look at a chocolate bar that's like 70 or 80 dirhams, you don't feel like what anymore. You're like, chocolate does cost 70 or 80 dirhams, and then another bigger brand will come in and introduce their version of that chocolate and price it at 100 dirhams.
Yeah.
And it becomes normal. And I think that is also what's playing around. It's not only inflation, honestly. Like the cost of making a product is not going up by 10 times. It's the fact that, I want my brand to be picked up by people that can afford it, because there is people that actually have that much money. There's more millionaires now than before COVID. We know that, right? It's not just inflation preying in, but also at the same time, there is more dumb people now thinking that, I can look rich by buying that shit that's not supposed to be for me. And that's what's taking things into the next level, because I still can't believe that people can justify paying 100 or 120 or 150 dirhams for like a pack of chocolate, or like a pack of, I don't know, whatever it is, like a drink. Like when this energy drink came in, what was it, Prime?
Yeah.
Prime.
And people were like buying unique Prime bottles for like $1,000 or whatever it is. Like, I mean, come on.
No, it's it's a fad, right? Like these are the things are fads, right? But then what I'm talking about is inflation that you don't that's hard to notice, like the inflation in your grocery bills.
Yeah,
that's like really
okay.
it's really gradual, but it is there. Like I keep a quite extensive budget in my household. I know exactly what we're spending on groceries, what we're spending on food outside, what we're spending on Amazon. It's very structured. So I notice that a quick I'll give you a quick example. We did a quick trip yesterday to the groceries to buy the meal prep for the week. So it's food. It's a part of the food that we needed to meal prep for the week. So it wasn't full kind of a shopping thing, and we spent easily 450 just like that. And if you spent it, and we're a household of 2.5, 3 people, right? So I think it's inflation like that's making investing generally not a nice to have anymore. It's making it you need to invest, or you're not, or basically your money that you're making is just like losing value every year. Which is why everybody should buy Bitcoin.
No, I think in general it's inflation, but there's also like a lot in terms of our generation. There's a lot of like resources as well. So you go on Instagram and you see like a bunch of things of like you should invest, or like some girl boss influencer being like, this is what you should do at work, or your work shouldn't be everything, and all of that kind of stuff. So we have that as well.
Yeah, you shouldn't make money for your boss. Your boss should make money for you.
Just talking about groceries there. Yesterday, I took the family to Emirates Biofarm.
Oh.
No way.
Which is really, really nice.
We were actually speaking about that, me and my wife. Was it?
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's very, very good. So it's very well organized. You can go, you can have brunch there, and then you can go for a tour of the farm. There's like a small train kind of thing that takes you around.
Is it on the Lion Road?
Yeah.
Down there.
It's really good. Really enjoyed it.
And do you get like to buy stuff from there?
They have a farm shop as well.
Nice.
What were the prices, if you remember?
I didn't check the prices because
Because you're rich.
No, because I didn't buy anything.
Because you're balling.
No, because I didn't buy any vegetables. I was like, no,
Vegetables? Like, not for me.
No,
That was so loud for some reason.
I have to.
Excited about hearing about vegetables.
Exactly. But it's a lovely place.
You know, if you were a vegetable, you would have been a carrot.
No, cucumber.
No,
This is the carrot right here.
You're the carrot.
Dude, have you noticed how
He's
Mal
seen me
eats
ingest so many carrots.
like every day? She has a whole carrot every day.
I think so.
But they wear glasses, so it's ironic. But you know how they say.
I think she eats carrots not to make it go worse,
Yeah.
Maybe.
to stop the progression of that.
So yeah, shout out to Emirates Biofarm. Please sponsor us.
Someone sponsor us.
I thought you were going to be like, shout out to carrots.
What about you? Your investment? What's your plan for
Journey.
2025?
Bitcoin.
2025, it's it's same as 2024.
Sit down and watch.
Increase. I'm a big believer in investing in disruptive assets. To have a diversified but concentrated portfolio. Like
Concentrate on what?
in the disruptive assets, or basically in technologies that have the potential to disrupt the market in a big way, like the smartphone, the introduction of internet, and now it's
AI.
yeah, now it's AI and robotics and all that jazz, and cryptocurrencies.
Speaking of technologies, there's a company that had a scam recently.
A scam?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's called Honey, and they're owned by PayPal.
You
guys know about it?
No, so it's my feed. It kept on popping up. Why these influencers, and I don't know what, like Mr. Beast, and I don't know who else were all involved. But what was that about? But I never.
I saw like a video about MKBHDs talking about it, but I haven't watched it.
So
What's up?
what's a honey scam?
Yeah, so basically, Honey, for those people who don't know, Honey is kind of like a browser extension where basically download it into your Chrome, and whenever you're browsing like Noon or Amazon or whatever online shopping, it'll pop up and basically say, oh, like, wait, we have promo codes for you. And then basically you can automatically enter and it'll give you like the best discount on the stuff that you're trying to buy. But the scam is basically they have a lot of like influencer marketing. That's why you probably heard about it from Mr. Beast. And like, I think around COVID is probably when I started using Honey, like, because it was literally each and every YouTuber is
Had like a sponsor for
I kind of like, I don't know if you guys see those videos like, oh, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get therapy, blah, blah. Same happened with Honey. Like everybody was sponsoring them, even if,
Even us, we're sponsored by Honey.
No, we're not. Sponsor us, please.
Even if you're a scam, it's fine. We've got to make a living in the beginning. Donham wants to invest in disruptive assets.
So the way affiliate marketing stuff works is they will usually give you a link, right? So you'll be like, oh, use code Omar25 to get X% off your next purchase, right? So yeah, they were doing that. They were doing this with all influencers, and they were doing that so you earn per click from the affiliate link, but they were very easy to work with. So if Honey came to us, for example, they would be like, do 5 videos for us. We'll pay for all 5 videos up front. So that's how they'll lure you in the beginning, for example. And then once you do the video and all of that, what was happening is when people were going off the affiliate link, basically what should happen is your first purchase, it should automatically enter the affiliate code, like Adham 20 or Omar 50. And from that use of the code, then the affiliate would get like an X percentage of commission or whatever, right? So they weren't doing that. And I mean, their kind of value proposition is that they would give you the best discount for everything. And that's what they were also selling to their influencers, that we give people the best discount for XYZ. So the first thing was that the codes weren't working properly. So the affiliates were not getting the money. So they would just put like a random partner's code and not the affiliate's code. So they weren't making really any money off of it. And then the second thing was that they will basically partner with Amazon, for example. and then Amazon can feed honey the codes that they want.
Okay.
So instead of getting the best discount from whatever's in the database, you're just getting
whatever the merchant wants you to do.
Yeah, basically. So
That's
yeah,
clever.
people were really put off by it, especially I mean from a business perspective it kind of makes sense. You would be like, okay, like why else would Amazon want to use honey?
Yeah.
Right? They want to make money off of it. But when it comes to like influencers and stuff that they're actually like trying to sell when they're producing videos.
It's because also they are kind of responsible for their following base, right?
Yeah.
And they're telling if I'm telling my followers that I'm gonna get you this is gonna get you the best deal, but this is not
Yeah.
actually getting you the best deal. So am I actually honest to my followers? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like your integrity. So that's how they basically got a lot of like mass influencers to like, because they were really easy to work with in the first place. They didn't even have this thing. So usually when you do affiliate partnerships, there's a very strict process. So you have to create the video. The company will tell you what exactly to say about the product. And they'll be like, if you don't say this, we're not going to approve the video and we're not going to give you any money. But they were like, say whatever you want. It's very like, you know, casual.
Get as many people.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. By the time they got caught up with that, how much money did they make?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, so they don't actually care.
Yeah. But now everyone's dropping them,
Yeah,
basically.
influencers, right? But users, do they care? Because users are getting offers.
But
That's
they're
true.
not getting the best
Anyway.
offer. So.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
now
but at
the-
least they're getting something. Like because
Yeah.
if you're not using it, you would have to go through the hassle of actually trying to
Finding,
find the offer.
But there's a gap in the market now because they basically lost the trust of that business, and then like now it's easy like for a company to just jump in and say, you know what, we are offering the best offers.
There you go, and you can
Business
call it
idea.
sugar.
Yeah.
I think someone was trying to do it in Mina as well. I did a beta test for one of them. But it didn't work.
Call it big money energy.
By Ryan
Serhant.
Serhant.
But yeah, it was really interesting. I was like, SmartCrowd. Would we ever do that?
So Meeham, have you enjoyed appearing on the podcast?
Yeah.
Appearing.
Is this going to be our first of many?
Have we
appearances?
said it that Meeham is our producer? I don't think we said
Yeah,
it.
No,
I
we
think
did.
in the beginning we
Producer.
did.
She's our producer.
By the way, just to kind of if we could smoke here, this would be perfect.
Can
If we
you
could
no?
smoke here.
I'm not gonna enable your addiction.
No, like.
But
like,
I
There's a
technically
we
fire
can
alarm
honestly smoke
right
here.
here.
Yeah, I know, but like.
I mean, we can just whip it out.
Sounds safe.
I mean I technically edit your podcast, so it's kind of like enabling your addiction, but
Or what we can do is we can put like a bowl or like a bin and just tape around it.
Yeah.
So smoke doesn't get in
So
there.
basically, is there a chance for the dad to just soak us in water?
No,
every
that,
smoke?
that's only if you like get like direct heat fire into it, so it breaks the glass inside. That's it.
Oh, okay.
It's not connected to whatever that is. That is just gonna go beeping. That's it.
I love how you're actually theorizing on what to do.
Oh yeah, we'll just put like an air purifier over here and
Yeah.
good to go.
We can get a guest and put them right there.
Yeah.
And what's nice about it, Meeham being the producer, I can just be in the office right over there, looking
Yeah,
at
and
the whole
looking
thing,
at us and
looking
yeah.
at us and producing the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if we can make it work, let's do it. We'll buy a air purifier here.
I think Riz gifted me one. It's not an air purifier,
No,
Oh,
but
it's the humidifier.
The
Humidifier.
humidifier.
We'll just say that the office is so dusty. We need to buy air purifiers, and we'll just buy air purifiers that we
I'll
can use.
just put them all in this one room.
Yeah,
Anyways, this was fun, guys.
Good,
this
good.
was lovely. Thank you
we
for
need to make this a
appearing.
regular thing with you, Meeham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Need to make like an episode with you every now and then.
Coffee episode.
Once a quarter or something.
once a quarter.
So Tom,
Damn.
what?
To make the episodes like special.
Yeah,
Me, I'm special.
Yeah, like Meeham special, we'll call them.
Meeham special one.
There you go.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
We'll see you next one.